Yo, what's the business is? Cold Hard Facts Podcast, episode 333. I am DNA, the one, the only, of course. And I have a very special guest sitting in front of me today, Juby the God.
How you feeling, man?
Oh, how you feeling, man?
I'm good, man. You know, I'm living.
Yeah, I'm
Blessed.
good too, man. I'm great. Because it's not often like a talent like yourself is in front of me today, like for real.
Yeah, I appreciate that, bro.
Yeah.
Sure.
I seen you got a few interviews out there, not too many. You got like maybe 2 or 3.
I think I got more than I think I got like 4 or 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I only seen 2 that's on YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay, but we gonna make sure you get your just due because I know you got a great story that I'm more interested in that I'm loving your music so much that I'm just like, man, like you should be bigger than what you are right now.
Hey, it's God's timing.
For sure it is. So how did you originally get your start in music?
Well, I started in college really. So I was making music at like 16, but I wasn't really taking it serious. Okay. I was just making stuff on my phone through BandLab once I found out the system. But in college, my freshman year at college, I was like making music, especially because I went to college during COVID. So that 2020 year, it was like, oh, everything shut down. Right. So I was just making music constantly. Everything was happening, like bad, traumatic stuff was happening at home that I couldn't deal with because I'm isolated in North Carolina because I go to school out there. And then my sophomore year, I became a real big J. Cole fan. And then I paid for one of his concerts. I think he did the off-season tour. And I was able to, I was actually able to go to the concert, and it was kind of like a bird's eye view. So that's what I ended up doing. I ended up going to the concert and was like, oh yeah, I gotta be on the stage, especially because he had us waiting out there for like 2 hours. Right. And it was cold, and I'm like, yeah, I gotta be on the stage. I can't be the one waiting. I gotta be the one they waiting on.
For sure. You.
Yeah.
I was because I was gonna ask you which concert you seen because my first concert was J. Cole.
Okay.
I went to the KOD tour. That was my very first.
Ooh, I wish I did.
Yeah.
But that was the KOD album was the album that made me a fan. That's when I became mature enough in my head to realize what kind of music that I like and what I gravitated towards. Right. It was Photograph.
Okay.
From KOD.
Yeah.
And it made me listen to the whole album, love the album, and then gradually it made me go back to all the other stuff. Because when KOD dropped, I was only like 17.
Okay.
So like, 16, 17 is when you actually start being conscious of like what other music is besides your cousin's favorite, your uncle's favorite that they put you on to.
Exactly. Okay, so do you remember, let's just say, do you remember what song from the KLD album that you wrote to?
That I wrote to?
Yeah, that you wrote to or freestyle to?
The first that happened my sophomore year too. It was KOD. I think it was KOD.
Okay.
The actual song KOD. Okay. I did a freestyle to it, and it was my first music video that I shot because I shoot my own for the most part now. But yeah, that was my first one.
All right. So tell me, give me one studio experience like one day you walk in the studio. How many songs you preparing to lay down?
Okay. Well, for a prevalent like 4 years of like college, like up until my junior year, I'd never been into like a professional studio. Okay. I was recording myself for the most part. Okay. So after my second Dreamville Fest, I had ran into like JID and them, they managers, JID, Earth Gang, who manages them, and I played them one of my songs, and they told me that the song was good, I could rap, but they pay attention to the production. Basically, in my head, I'm thinking like they just called my shit ass. Okay. So I'm thinking like, I bet, let me start going to these studios and making it sound professional. And one particular time, this was recent, this is last year, over the summertime, right before I came back to college, I had hooked up with my homie Ari Burns, and mind you, I just met him like a week before we linked up at Classic Studios, because Classic Studios have like this day where they just invite as many artists and producers and DJs and whoever creatives out, and it's basically like a big networking event. Everybody listening to music, people talking, people freestyling, people playing beats, just a bunch of good creative energy, everybody with high energy. I got there early. I was there throughout the whole day, and him and like 3 other producers, they was playing beats, and me and 3 dudes that I knew prior to that event was freestyling. So we had, after the freestyle, he was like, "Yeah, I'm rocking with you, boom, boom, boom." I'm like, "I'm rocking with you. I need a producer. I'm not producing that much yet." And he was like, "Yeah, let's do something next Tuesday." It had to be like a Thursday.
Okay.
And we was like, "Yeah, let's do something next Tuesday." The next Tuesday, he sent me some beats to pre-write to before I got to the session. I probably like started like 3 songs, finished 1.
Okay.
But when I got to the studio, we did 5 songs.
Okay.
And I didn't pre-plan to do 5. We planned to do 1, maybe 2. But it was just a session. We just went there at his crib, did the first song, liked the first song so much. He kept playing beats. I kept feeling inspired to write. And we ended up doing 5 songs in a session.
Oh.
And me, I'm competitive. So like 5 songs in one day, that's a lot for me.
For sure.
Especially because I write.
Right.
I try to be so intentional, and I like to take my time so the words actually make sense instead of freestyling, because you never know where they might go. And then I always find myself freestyling and then getting real personal. And then when I feel myself feeling real personal, I pull myself back and I just change the subject and get defensive. And I do it subconsciously. So I like to write, so that's what takes so long. But like did 5 songs in one day. I was like really moving. I made like 11 songs that week.
Nice. That's good. That's
In
good
like
work
3
ethic.
days.
So I'm gonna be all over the place. I'm gonna go into some of your music real quick.
Okay, cool.
So I noticed that you put like a 2-song EP out.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was True. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. So over the summer, I was like going on Instagram Live. I was making beats. It was like one of those. I had one of them like turning point moments where like I kind of like I pinched the nerve, because I was I started making beats 3 years ago, but I didn't become consistent at making beats up until the last year.
Right.
And I was making beats every day. Then I made a song for J. Cole, and I made the beat. I was writing a letter to invite him to my graduation. I was gonna send it off, invite him, his peoples, because I met them at Dreamville Fest, or not J. Cole, but his team. I met them in Dreamville, and then I was gonna send him a invitation to the graduation, writing a letter, and then I started making a beat. I chopped the sample, and it sounded real like classic to me, and I'm liking it. And it was simple, just drum, kick, and then the sample doing most of the heavy lifting. I started rapping the letter, and I was like, nah, I gotta write this. I gotta make this into a song. But in that span, I had teared up on live, and then somebody had was like, yeah, I got some beats that I don't use that this producer that I rock with, he produced for like Baller's Life. He do like mixtape type beats and stuff. He said, I think you'll kill it. And then he sent me them beats, and 2 of them beats were the beat for Who That Is and Faulty Records.
Okay.
And I wrote those songs in the same day, because those beats were just super hard.
Right.
And then I had went to Classic Studios probably like a month after that and got them recorded. So I had the mixed version of it. And I probably say like 2 days before I went to school, or 2 days before I went back to school, I did like a mic drop music video. I shot and edited myself on Lakeshore.
Okay.
On the like right next to the water.
Right.
And I had the idea, because I had the cover art already, but I had the idea. I didn't know what I was gonna call it, so I was like, fuck, this is just the truth. It was like Faulty Records, where I'm just talking about how a lot of people trying to fall into the trends of what life is, or how music is supposed to be portrayed, money. Everything is centered around money and not the love of the music. And it's like people like me who take it serious don't get looked at as much, which is fine. Everything is in due timing. But I was like, I just had to get that out, and that was like a song that was like real true to me, even though a lot of people don't like it as much as I would like them to. I love that song. It's like one of the missing gems if one of my favorite artists would drop and it's not their favorite, but it's my favorite. That's my type of song. And then who that is, it was just me rapping. It was kind of like me giving like a perspective of myself, but like trying to bar up at the same time. And I was just like, what's the best way to describe it? And I just tried not to overthink it. I was like, truth. It was just like true to me. So I was just like, true. And I was like, here world, basically.
For sure. You talking?
Yeah, it's long answers, but it's
no.
Yeah.
It's about you today, dog. It's about you today. Yeah, like, is there any reason why, like, maybe I stumbled upon the clean versions. I don't know what happened, but on Spotify, it didn't separate the clean from the explicit. But I noticed that you got those also on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
So,
I put them both up there, but it's like the way that like the United Masters and DistroKids be having it set up. It's like it's kind of hard because you can't like label it on the distros to be like clean version, true parentheses clean version. They don't want you to do that. They just want you to like post it and then just put either the E next to it for explicit or it not next to it. So the only way you could like really see if it's explicit or not is if the little E emblem is next to the name.
For sure.
I don't know why they do that, but
yeah, bro.
I try to put that out because I got aunties and grandmas and everybody who wants to listen to these songs, but they don't always like me cussing. So I try to like do the clean versions because I started off making music without cussing at all. But time went on, I was like, I gotta give the whole truth. I can't filter myself. So just had to like adjust and then start doing the clean versions for them.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's definitely like I agree with you on that because like I ain't gonna lie, this is the first year where I'm feeling like I shouldn't curse in the beginning of my interviews because it used to be like, what the fuck is up with the motherfucking businesses?
Yeah.
Cold Hard Facts podcast. But now this year I'm turning over a new leaf.
Right.
As you could say. But do you want to get signed?
I'm not opposed to it.
Okay.
Because, all in all, my one of my dreams is to get signed to Dreamville. Because I feel like that's the camp that fits me best as far as music. But if I could do it independent, I will. Right. I'm not opposed to signing because I know a lot about the kind of deals that you can get and how people are taken advantage of because they don't want to read the deals or they see a lump sum of money and they be like, I ain't never seen this type of money before and y'all about to get this to me. Yeah, I take it, sign my name, and now you under a contract, you don't own your masters, all this stuff that we hear about all the time, especially now. Right. But I would love to be signed, because I feel like the platform could do everything for me if it was presented. And I know for a fact if somebody signed me to a label, y'all would be making a bunch of money.
For sure.
Because I don't have I'm doing a lot of things that is seen as major to other people, but I'm doing it for free. I'm like certain things that I put together, I got a song with a choir on it. Got that for free. I got homies that sing. I got a homie who was running the gospel choir. She asked a couple people if they wanted to do a song with me, and they've heard some of my music, and they was with it, and they just wanted to come do it. And I'm always willing to go above and beyond for them and help them out if they need it, or pay them if they ask. But they did it because they liked to do it and they wanted to do it, and a lot of people that's some Kanye shit.
Right.
And it's Kanye. So he could do that. He could call and just, let me put some people together and let's do this song. I did that with no money. I did a documentary that I recorded and edited myself to show the people how it was made. Like certain things that I do seem like you need a budget to do.
For sure.
And like I'm doing it out of the grace of God because God just placing them everywhere that they need to be for me and for the world, because essentially everything is for the world to consume and gravitate towards. So it's like if a label throw money behind that, what I'm already able to accomplish without no money, everything is just gonna be like through the roof. Oh my gosh, don't even get me fantasizing.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you talking. So what was the it's gonna sound crazy, but what was the reason behind The Reason Is Music? It's a YouTube video for y'all don't know.
Oh yeah. Okay. So that was a documentary that I had made for a school project.
Nice.
So it was like the final project my senior year. This is my last. I'm in my 5th year, but last year was technically my senior year. So in my senior year, we had a project in my intermediate video class because my major is video and film, and we had to pick either between like a movie trailer, well basically we shoot like a short film movie and like kind of like show the trailer, and or we could do a documentary series. And I've always wanted to do documentaries ever since I decided I wanted to do the video and film route with the music. I was like, okay, let me try to figure out a way to like get that practice in. So me and one of my friends, his name is Kobe. He's another videographer. He was able to help me with a lot with the editing and a lot with the shooting, especially like when I was doing like my narrating in a sense. It was basically made for willy-nilly pretty much, but I wanted to highlight my experience at Dreamville Fest and why it like helped me so much, especially because you could see the progression. Like people who look at my social media, you can see the progression. You've seen every time I've been at Dreamville Fest, and then you also seen how it inspired me based on the consistency and the hard work that I decided to put in to the craft and to social media as I decide to post every day or post every so often, and the quality of stuff that I'm posting and also the music that I'm making. You could see all the inspirations, and I wanted to highlight Dreamville specifically because they played a major part in that, not just J. Cole, because even though J. Cole started it, but everybody in Dreamville, I rock with heavy, and I listen to their musics. Like I listen to all their music heavy. I might have my seasons where I listen to him more than her or him more than him, but all of them pretty much like in my top, especially as a label. They got everybody's a heavy hitter, and that inspired me to like do that. I don't know if they've seen it. I mean, I hope they'll sit down and watch it and then say something. But you know, that was for them for real.
For sure. Let me see. So, your top 3 albums of all time?
Of like my own or
No,
just
everybody, all the artists.
That's a tough question. Top 3 albums of all time. I say Friday Night Lights, even though it's not a
Album, per se.
album, but it's a mixtape. I'll take Friday Night Lights. Carter 4. Carter 3 or 4, honestly. It's Lil Wayne.
Okay.
And this is not in no particular order. And then actually, I'm gonna take Friday Night Lights out because it's a mixtape. The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
Okay.
Carter 4, 3, and To Pimp a Butterfly.
Okay. That's dope. Yeah. Solid 3.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite artist right now outside of yourself? He could be from the city or could be out here mainstream.
My favorite artist right now, I don't know. Probably who I've been listening to recently, Vince Staples.
Okay.
Cause Vince is just like, he got a lot of like vibes to him. Cause like if you listen to his last album, like Dark Times, he got like real like gloomy type vibes, but he not talking about no gloomy shit.
Right.
And I like listening to lyrics. I like hearing words, and I like knowing what your mind is thinking at that moment, because all experience, everything that we rap about or make music about is all about experience, from the music to the words. He got a song called Children's Song. This is like a real groovy beat, and he just like, don't play with my crib and go play with your kids, bitch. Like on a gloomy type.
Right.
I'm like, that's some different shit. Niggas not doing that.
Right.
And it attracted me to a lot of his catalog, like listening to like the Big Fish Theory, which basically like kind of like house music.
Mm-hmm.
But he did it for like rap. Like that's some real different shit. Niggas not doing that. And beside him, it's always gonna be J. Cole. It's always gonna be Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne is my GOAT. J. Cole's my favorite. Kendrick is always gonna be up there somewhere. GNX was crazy.
Right.
And then more recently, Tyler the Creator.
For sure.
Yeah.
Let's see. What do you feel like your biggest accomplishment in music is so far?
As of right now, my biggest accomplishment is producing, learning to produce. Because like when I first started making music, YouTube beats, prevalent.
Right.
But when I first started, I had bought my school had gave me a refund check for COVID, and with that money, I had bought like my own studio setup. I had got like a mic, got the interface, everything in a bundle from Amazon. My mom had got me a laptop during tax season. Shout out to the tax seasons. Got a laptop, started recording on Pro Tools. Had to learn the DAW because I only know BandLab at this point.
Right.
Learned how to mix it to make it sound.
What was the DAW?
Pro Tools.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. But I learned how to mix, at least to make my voice sound at least clear enough, and then started recording from there. Bought a beat machine and bought a keyboard the same time, so I got everything at the same time. And then over that summer, I had bought an iMac, like a older Mac desktop. And the person that I bought it from, he's like, he had told me before I picked it up that, oh, you make music? I could download Logic Pro to the computer for you. Logic Pro is like $200 on a good day.
Right.
So it was like, yeah, do that. Went over there, I paid $110 for that Mac.
Nice.
I'm like, what? Don't sleep on Facebook Marketplace. Don't sleep on Facebook Marketplace. So I got my Mac, and I started making beats from the Mac, and then I like 2 years later I got an iPad. Then I started making the beats from my iPad because you could get Logic Pro on your iPad.
Right.
And I started making beats on there, and now it's just been getting insane because I I'm a scholar at YouTube University.
Right.
A big scholar, just like trying to find out all the ins and outs of the DAW. That's how I knew I was really passionate about it, about music specifically, because I could have just stick to rapping and trying to up my skills with that, but I was like, nah, I gotta make the beats because I'm tired of like going to BeatStars and I'm buying like different tiers for these beats. And then as I'm growing up, I'm seeing and I'm learning more. I'm seeing that you could get a lot of money producing and like getting your songs synced to like movies and TV shows. I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta start producing now. I gotta get good at it just so I can get that, because that's a bag without people knowing who I am.
Right.
Bag. So if I can find a way to finesse that, boom, we gonna get over here. We gonna continue to make the music. The music is only gonna get better, and the more people rock with the music, the more they gonna want to work with me, or the more they want to go tune in. And these songs mean more to me because I produced them rather than a song that I did through a YouTube beat. Because a lot of those producers I don't know.
For sure.
And it's hard to get in contact with them too. So you can't even. The most you could do is download the beat and make the song and release it. With the producing, you could flip it how you want to. You can mix it how you want to. You can add things here and there. You can do the same thing with the other beats, but like you made the stems,
Right.
and then you get to look back and listen to the song all the way through. And like, damn, I made that. That just means more to me than to say I made that with another beat that ain't mine. Like my whole discography before, like fuck with it, but like that don't mean nothing unless I made them beats. Like I made like 60 songs, just my beats, and that's a lot for me.
Right.
And that's mainly over 2024.
Okay.
So that's definitely my biggest accomplishment.
So, take yourself out of this. And then put yourself in it, because I want you to basically answer for yourself.
Right. Okay.
Do you think albums are important right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. But because as a fan, 2024 was a great year for music. First of all,
Okay.
people like see the beef and see all this extra shit. I'm like, first beat was not like we really didn't need the beef. However, it did spark a bunch of people to come outside,
Right.
which I rocked with. But if you look at all the albums that was dropped this year, and I'm talking about my favorite artists, I'm talking about other people's favorites, I'm talking about people that was just coming out the woodworks, like Lupe Fiasco dropped, Common dropped, J. Cole dropped and released all 3 of his first mixtapes. Kendrick dropped with a bunch of singles. Drake was dropping singles. Doechii came out with a crazy album. Cordae dropped. Tyler dropped. Smino dropped. Like, everybody was dropping, and it was all good music, and none of the shit sounded the same. And these were albums. Like, it's not like they were just a group of music. They were albums. And Rod Wave dropped. A lot of people rock with Rod. Everybody was dropping. And the fact that everybody was dropping, music was just so good and it was genuine. You really didn't get no like bad vibes from the music. So as a person who likes listening to the albums, I like watching movies. And in my head, an album is a movie, essentially. It's like it's a storyline. You got the intro. Some people might put some strings and they just singing throughout the whole intro for like a minute and 30 seconds. They just singing just to give you like an intro. Then they come in with a hard like beat, like Cordae did the 06 Dreaming, I think, or whatever it was. That was crazy. Like that beat was crazy, and he sampled his mom.
For sure.
Like that's some crazy shit, and that has like meaning. I feel like the albums have meaning, and people who like fight for the singles, it's like if you hit, that was it. Like, what you gonna do after that? Like, do you have a whole album full of hits? Or can you create a body of work that tells your story that's going to make me want to listen to you aside from this one hit that you have? Because that's what really attracts me to like certain artists. Like, I wasn't a Doechii fan until I heard the album. I knew who she was. She was on a couple of my favorite artists' albums, but when I listen to hers, I'm like, oh, I'm a fan of you now.
For sure.
I got my favorite songs on her album. I was already a fan of Cordae. I was already a fan of Smino. But like, I'll go listen to like somebody who was featured on somebody's album. Like, what did they drop? Oh yeah, I'm a fan of them now because I like what they was talking about, and then their body of work did something for me, and that's what I'm trying to create myself. I'm putting myself back in that shoe right now. Like, I want to create an album that tells people about me, and then also that creates like a good vibe on what's happening, because music is essentially our soundtrack.
Right.
For what's happening now. And I want to create something that people can relate to. It might be my memory lane or my aspirations or my dreams, but I want something that people can be like, yeah, this is a soundtrack for my summer or my winter or my spring or the time that's happened in my life, or it helped me cope with this. Because I think music is the most powerful thing that we have. Entertainment helps people keep those smiles up.
For sure. Yeah. Let's see. So how do you stay inspired?
Honestly, I be like scrolling on like Instagram and TikTok. Sometimes I try to stay off my phone, but like when I find myself scrolling, I'll see like, say like this is a podcast. Say you interview somebody I know, and then like they doing like some real amazing shit. And I know them, like, seen them, dapped them up. They know who I am. And they just doing, like, real crazy shit. And I'm like, I'm not working hard enough. Throw the phone down. Get on the beat machine. Or if I'm listening to my favorite artist shit and they shit sound crazy, like Tyler the Creator, that the production on Chromacopia was crazy. I'm listening to this shit, I'm like, I'm not working hard enough. Like, I gotta create something more. I gotta do more. I'm like, I'm not doing enough, or like I'm not where I need to be. And that always keeps me inspired, other than, you know, the stories that I get from when I talk to people, especially like my family members who I didn't know stuff about them prior. Like my grandma told me she had a low self-esteem, like and it started as a kid. My grandma's 60 something, and it sticks with you. And like that story right there, I don't know when that story is gonna come out in my music, but I know for sure it's gonna come out because I have the knowledge now. And it's happened a lot of times where like I just have a perspective and I observe, and then like a certain beat or melody or a vibe brings that story out, or brings my perspective of what they were talking about. It comes out in that song, and then I'm able to write it. And then most of the time people love it. I haven't heard nobody who said they didn't like it if I made it about them. But, you know, it's creating that soundtrack for them. It does a lot, and that inspires me also.
So how soon can we expect a project from you?
It's crazy. I don't even know. I'm trying to do it like really soon, especially because it's 2025. I really didn't drop a project in 2024. I dropped something like at the end of 2023, but I have like 4, 5 like projects, and I just need them like mixed. But like I've been working on a project that's fully produced by me, and that's been my goal since I started producing, to one day create music at a high rate with the beats that I make, and also to create an album fully produced by me, no outside producers, just to get my feet wet in that specifically and make it cohesive, because that's the hard part. You got to find those sounds. Right. I'm trying. I'm not going to like jinx it, but I want to drop something by January 28th.
Okay. Nice.
So we talking about 2 weeks.
Right.
And in my head is going to be an EP.
Okay.
Because the song I was talking about earlier, the Dear Cole song, I want to send off that letter. I want to finish that letter and send it off. And I also want to give him that song. So I think January 28th will be when I'm gonna drop something.
For sure. All right. One last question for you.
All right.
What's one thing you want to do for Chicago that no one else has done?
One thing I want to do for Chicago that no one else has done. I've been thinking about this for like years. When I was in elementary school, I used to, I'm from the city. I grew up on the south side of Chicago in Roseland, Wild Hunnits. My school closed down in the 5th grade. Something I really wanted to do for the longest time, I want to turn like the schools that closed down into outreach and community centers, because like a community like the one I grew up in, it's only gotten worse. And I feel like the only reason people do the bullshit that they do, or like they fit into that group of what they call young niggas, is because what do they have to do except be that?
Right. What
are you providing for somebody who don't know that there's something else other than what's around them? Because everybody could be like the basketball player can still gangbang. The football player can still be out here drilling shit. But like, what type of resources can you open up? Because I noticed, like, it's crazy to say it, but when I was coming out of high school and I was applying to colleges, I didn't know there was a such thing as HBCUs. And that's crazy. As a black student in America, especially at a public school, I didn't know about historically black colleges and universities. Because if I did know, I would be going to one. But I know I wanted to go to North Carolina, not knowing that North Carolina got a lot of them. I didn't know about Winston-Salem University. I didn't know about North Carolina A&T, and I wanted to transfer to North Carolina A&T, but it's so much that we don't know.
Right.
and there's so much that they won't teach us, and then now we stuck in this like cycle of still doing the same stupid shit because don't nobody want to teach. Everybody kind of like, oh yeah, you look like a criminal, might as well be one. Good luck with life. And it's like, he don't have to be one. If you gave him a different path, this is the only path he sees. If you gave him something else to like look forward to other than a basketball game, he might be another doctor. He might be the next photographer that takes over the world with his pictures. Like, he might capture the next biggest film that mean a lot to the culture. But if all we got is what we see in front of us, there's no way we can look what's around us. And especially because a lot of people don't make it out the city. Like, I had a friend who was killed at like 9 years old. Me thinking about her at 23, I'm like, where could she have been at 23 if she wasn't gunned down at 9 years old in front of her house? Like, where could she have been? Or what could we have done for those dudes who were shooting at each other that caused her to die? What could we have done for them so that didn't happen? Like, you close down a school in that area, now all these kids got to go to these different schools. This school is right here and it's empty. Ain't nobody using it. It's not being used for nothing. But now, everybody like hanging around the school not even open. But you know what they doing. So it's like, what can we do? Especially when it comes to showing them. Because really, all you got to do is show them. Like, I went to North Carolina. Shit looked crazy. Like, it's crazy out there to me. It's like, I've never seen this shit. Essentially, never being in the South up until this point. Like, I used to think, me and my brother, we used to joke about this shit all the time. It's like, if I never been, it's a myth. You could say you've been to California. I ain't never been, so it don't exist in my world.
Right.
It's a myth to me. I got to bust the myth. And the only way to bust the myth, I got to have money to go. And if I ain't got money to go, I guess I'm staying here. And a lot of us don't even make enough money to go, or we don't get the desire to go because we so used to what we're familiar with. People don't like being uncomfortable. And I think doing that, like buying those schools up and like filling them with like outreach, teaching the kids about budgeting, financial literacy, and everything that needs to be done in black communities, it could help. But I don't think people do that. Like, I'd love for like somebody like Kanye to come do that. He tried to with the Donda Academy, but he wasn't in Chicago.
Right.
So it's like, is it really helping where you at? Not to diss Kanye, but like somebody got to do it in the city. And that's my one of my biggest goals, to buy back my elementary school and let that be the first spot for like outreach and helping like kids so they don't end up how one of my friends ended up killed in a crossfire, or like how people that I know grew up where they like be the ones shooting. So it's like, I don't like to stop it. We gotta teach them something else.
For sure.
So that's what I really want to do in the city.
For sure. I got more in my head, but I'm gonna save it for next time, man, because it will be a next time. I enjoyed like everything you were speaking about, bro. This is gonna be one of them ones.
Yeah, I appreciate this conversation. I was loving this conversation.
Yeah, man. Till next time, though, we out.